Galahound19, and the other week I put out a poll, and you all really wanted to see Avatar: The Last Airbender as Spider-Verse variants, and this is not that. Sorry, it was taking a little longer than expected, and this one was already half done, so the next video will be the spider thing. This one, it's Yu-Gi-Oh Venomized Episode 2.
Oh, you and your big ideas! If we get out of this, I'm gonna... Okay, it's okay now. Let's try this again. Kota Yakima, log date, who knows? It had been a few weeks since me and the slime ball gained up on that demonic buckethead. We're both still alive, thankfully. And all this running for our lives is really great exercise. Food's been pretty scarce for a while, but I've been wanting to drop a few pounds anyway. Now on the downside, no way home, no Netflix, and no harem. If my life is now some Otaku's dream gone nightmare as a whacked out isekai series, it really wouldn't be doing well with views right now. Like a 1.5 stars, or Rotten Tomatoes, or whatever point system social media is using right now.
Now, Boulder Dash! I may not understand half the things you're saying, but that's a glass half-empty attitude!
Actually, my glass is literally empty. Water is also scarce in this Mad Max / Muppets universe. Oh, sorry, did I forget to mention that Slime Ball can talk now for some reason?
Yeah, well, it took a while for my living symbiote to assimilate your language. And it took even longer to understand all that slang you were using. And don't even get me started on your cursing.
Well, this is pretty much a plot twist in some amateur's fan fiction. Or it is someone trying to build up a series by bringing in some diversity and character development. But if you were to keep hurling those insults, you can forget any chance of a sequel, let alone your own character reveal. Whoa! What was that?
What was what?
I just had one of those nervous chills run down my spine, like having snow in my butt crack.
Okay, that's a really poor description. Maybe you're still a little shook up from earlier.
You mean when we got in between that aggressive plushie and the walking knife set? Yeah, that was the closest we got to meeting the Grim Reaper. Let's stop wasting tape and get started with the story already. So there we were, scavenging for food.
More like I was scavenging, and you were lecturing me on metaphors.
Well, in my defense, I never met anyone who took the term party pooper so disgustingly literal.
Now, that's a story for another time. Let's get back to this one.
Right, so there we were, minding our own business, when suddenly, out from our right, came this gold-colored walking fighter jet with blades protruding from its forearms. And it had one of those symbiote things covering its lower half with a sharp-toothed gaping maul in its torso. And coming up on our left was like a blend of a feral cat and a gladiator with a flowing cape and dark-colored armor. And it also had a symbiote, covering part of its face and along its left side, growing spikes along its back and shoulder, and turning its left hand paw thing into a much bigger hand paw thing. And in the other one, it was holding this cool looking sword, which was aimed for my head. Yeah, not so cool. The Catman just attacked me without even saying Thundercats or Wakanda Forever or anything. I ducked at the last second, turning a decapitation into a bad haircut.
Oh please, your hair was so scruffy, you were making the mullet look cool. This is an improvement.
As I was saying, I dove out of the way, getting covered in dry dirt as I tucked and rolled along the ground before picking myself up in a crouching position, readying myself for another strike. Except one never came. Turned out his aim really wasn't on me. He was going for the golden guy standing beside me. But still, I was like, what the heck, you oversized hairball? Now here's how the fight went down. Their movements was like a triple combination of graceful, ferocity, and ridiculously fast. The sound of their weapons clashing was like roaring thunder. The Catman was the faster combatant, as if it had 1,000 energy drinks down in one gulp. And as for the golden guy, where he wasn't fast enough to land any hits, his defense was pretty solid. No matter which angle a Catman came from, the golden guy was able to anticipate and counterattack. They were both so equally matched, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi.
You're really getting better at your storytelling, but how much tape do you have left?
Well, when I got inexplicably portaled here through a magic fart cloud, I found a bunch of stuff that came along with me. Unfortunately, much of it needed Bluetooth, another lot needed to be plugged in, and the rest was literal garbage. But I did find one of those 90s tape recorders with at least 2 boxes loads of batteries and tapes. I got them safely stored away somewhere.
Okay, but why are you doing these daily entry logs anyway? Who are these recordings for?
Well, if by some miraculous chance I get back home, I'd like to share my experiences here. And even if that day never comes, I need something normal to do to drown out the constant craziness. These recordings are the only thing that's keeping my brain from solidifying to mush. Now let's get back to the story. So we must have been sitting there for half an hour watching them fight for some reason. At that point, I was just enjoying the show. I couldn't figure out those two, or anyone here for that matter. And that's precisely why I should have kept my guard up. In the clash of their battle, I couldn't hear those wing beats. And when I heard that call, it was too late. A pair of talons sunk into my shoulders. It all happened so fast, I didn't notice the sharp pain in my flesh till after I was carried off. Like 2 seconds and I was already 10 feet in the air. Slimeball sent out his tendrils, but he couldn't reach me. I just kept getting higher and higher. Oh, wait, there's a pun here crying out to be made, but I'm blanking on it. The point is, things were bad, and they were only gonna get worse.
Now I could use this quick interruption to advertise myself, but how about Pokemon as mermaids, or the Amazing Digital Circus as Mortal Kombat combatants? All done by Knight of Arcane, a YouTuber doing all sorts of art videos and gaming live streams. And I'll be sure to leave a link in the description. But for now, let's get back to my video.
Whoa.
Are you okay?
I just had this weird daydream of a green-haired demon, a mermaid, and let's forget about it and move on. While I was airborne, I couldn't get a good enough look at what had just taken me. It was flying so fast that the wind was just slapping me silly. We were heading towards this mountain region, and I felt like 1 second away from puking the whole way there. But then we were passing over this field with tall grass, and that gave me an idea. Just not a very good one. I pulled out my belt, swung it around, and whipped the buckle into the creature's face. It let out a pain-stricken caw as it dropped me. It was a rough landing. I tumbled through grass and mud, but I found myself still alive, and I was so chuffed with myself, I didn't even care how much pain I was in. I glanced up and finally got a good look at the creature. It was a pink-haired harpy in breastplate armor and tights. She flew around on these green feathered wings that stem from her forearms, and you guessed it, she also had a symbiote covering the entire right side of her body. But you know, once you get past the whole possessed by a slime monster mixed with a predatorial bird attitude, she's actually rather pretty. But at the time, it was survival first, harem later. Now, as soon as I was back on my feet, the harpy lunged at me with talons first, but I dove to the side, avoiding her by just a few inches. She then flew back up in the air and steadily circled round the field like a vulture. I kept my head low for what felt like forever, hiding in the tall grass. A few times she came close to catching me, and I came close to peeing my pants. I had little cover and little to no plan. If I tried to run, she'd just pick me off. I was racking my brain for ideas, but then, from the clearing, I saw my buddy Slimeball coming to help me, and also kind of making things worse.
What? We needed a distraction.
And you brought the lizard guy, the tin man, the golden guy, the cat man, basically everyone who has tried to kill me so far.
Okay, so it got a little out of hand.
How did you even... We're running out of tape. Let's just wrap this up. So it was pretty much a free-for-all. The cat man leapt on the harpy. The tin man wrestled with the golden guy. The lizard man went after me, but then Slimeball tripped him up with his tendrils. And I was doing my utmost to avoid being crushed, decapitated, killed, just the usual stuff. I did, however, stumble into the harpy's nest, and there was like a few dozen eggs in there. And I was like, guys gotta eat. And to whoever is listening to this, before you accuse me of harpy genocide, I assure you those eggs were non-fertilized. So I grabbed as much as I could carry, and then me and Slimeball managed to slip out of that rip-off monster mash. So, yeah. The end.
Alright, that's done. Now it's... Oh man! Is that how much time I got left? I gotta speed up!
If you like what you saw here, then leave a like, subscribe, and suggest what you want to see next on this channel. I got links right here and here for you. And I will catch you next time for Avatar The Last Airbender as Spider-Verse variants.
So, yeah. Bye-bye.